Hey tubes, here's something here I didn't plan on getting into. This here's an engine that I've had sitting around for probably about 2 or 3 years, just in a corner of the garage. Matter of fact, it was sitting on these dirty old planks and just this little rolling cart. And then I had this cart sitting around, just the wood. I made that just in case I got an engine. And Lil Racer made the bolsters, the truck for it down there, and to put the wheels on it. But anyway, this engine was a basket case, and like I said, I've had it sitting around for 3 years or so in the corner. And by basket case, some of you guys might not know what that means, but it actually comes in a basket, you know, I mean, in boxes and parts, and that's where you get the name basket case. But we weren't doing anything. Here are the flywheels. We weren't doing anything one night, and then Racer, he pulls it out, he says, let's get this thing running, you know. So I said, oh, go ahead. And him and Mike were here, so they started working on it. But it needed a lot more work than I thought. So we're in the middle of it right now. All the parts seem to be there, and they're in decent shape. But this engine is really rough. You can tell it by looking at the braze on a lot of this, you know, that it was just brazed together to keep it going. Even the head is it's pretty interesting what they did with the head. You see how it's square on the bottom? It's not supposed to be like that. This must have been froze and blew out both of these water chambers, and they just brazed it back into place. And this one here, they just threw a piece of flat metal on there and brazed that in place. But you know, you look at that and you say, holy Christ, how could somebody do that? But this might have actually been done out in the field, and somebody did that and just had some scrap metal laying around, and they brazed that together just to get the thing running and working again. So you look at it that way, it's actually a pretty good fix. But anyway, let me get back to this here. It's an Alamo. This was like the parent company of about 3 or 4 different engines. Like this one over here, it's basically the same engine. That one over there is a 2.5 horse. This one here is 1 3/4. But they're identical, made by the same company. The only thing difference here is, you see how flat that head is? That's because there's no water going through it. And this head over here has water running through it. They call it a wet head to help cooling. I guess because it's a bigger engine, bigger displacement. But they're a great engine. Like I say, this one here is an Empire. I don't know if you can see that. But this company, Alamo, made Empires, Lansing, Rock Island, a lot of companies. These aren't rare engines, but you don't see them as much as you do the Stovers and the Hercules and stuff like that. So I figured since these guys started taking it apart and fixing it, Lil Racer cleaned it down. A lot of you guys don't know, you know, you always see Mike doing the mechanical work, but Lil Racer is just as good as a mechanic. And he's been working on this. But I figured, well, if these guys want to get it running and everything, and they're not here, you know, they only stop by once a week, I'm gonna wire wheel this thing and prime it up and paint everything that I can without getting in their way. So we're gonna take this basket case and try to make it into a show engine. Even the head, you know, I'm gonna redo the head and try to make it look good. You know, if I stumble on one of the show, I'll pick it up. But until then, I'm just gonna make this one. I'm not even gonna take this out and then re-weld it and stuff. I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm just gonna pretty it up because it looks like it's gonna work. So, and whatever other pieces in here have to be brazed like this, I'll do that. And just assist these guys and get these parts ready for them. But we'll see. There's no doubt in my mind they'll get it running. It looks like it used to run off of a coil and an igniter. Even this thing here is all brazed up. So I'm probably going to discard this, and for now, make a plate and just put a spark plug in it. All right, so I'm going to dismantle what's left to this, you know, take the crank off and maybe the hopper, and bring it outside and wire wheel it and start some painting. So I'll follow that for you. But I'm glad if it wasn't for him, guys, it'll probably still be sitting there for another 5-10 years. Who knows? Alright, this video is probably getting pretty long, so let's get to work. As far as I can see, it has everything it needs to run. It doesn't have the magneto, but we can get it running with a buzz coil and stuff like that. And it doesn't have a gas tank, but that's okay. You know, we can make a gas tank for it. And it's not like we're losing money or anything like that. I mean, for what I paid for this engine, you couldn't even buy this splash shield here. That's why that's why I picked it up and didn't pass it up. All right. I took the hopper off of this, the base here, and got it up here on the table. I thought I'd show you guys how I remove some paint. If you got the right tools, it's not too bad. Somebody sprayed this a couple different times with different color paints and everything. That's why I'm not keeping it original. If it had original paint on it and stuff like that, and it didn't look too bad, I would keep it. But somebody butchered this up. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I remove the paint. I use your regular 4.5 inch grinder with a cup wheel on there. That's good for most of the stuff. But for the thicker paint, a lot of you guys probably aren't familiar with something like this. They call this a needle gun or a needle scaler. It's mostly meant for taking slag off, you know, welds and stuff like that. The tips here, they dance across the paint, and if it's thick, hard paint, it chips it right up. It's pretty loud, but it does a job. And then I came across something in a flea market yesterday, and this here is pretty interesting. This is a wire wheel, but it's embedded in like a rubber or some kind of epoxy rubber. But this thing actually works really good. And I have that on my 7-inch wheel there. It says here it's made in the USA. But the rating on this, I don't know if you can see that, it's like 8,500 RPM. And that machine only does like 1,500 RPM, which is okay. I might put it on a 4-inch grinder just to see what it does. But these things here, you know, they're rated at 10,000, 11,000 RPMs. But anyway, I'm going to set you up in a rafter and show you how it is. Like I say, this needle gun here, I was using it down here, and it seemed to get the real thick paint off pretty good. Actually, the nub is really, really thick, but you know, it makes the wire wheels labor and takes longer. So let me throw you up in the rafters and see what it does. Alright, I don't know how well you guys can hear me. I got headphones on, ear muffs, whatever you want to call them, and glasses. I don't have any dust mask on. You should have a dust mask, but you guys wouldn't be able to hear me. But anyway, we're going to start off with this needle scale over here. Try and get some of the heavy stuff off, see what it does. If you guys can see. Alright, you see how fast that worked? That took just about all the paint off. Now I'm going to hit it with a wire wheel and see what that looks like. I don't think I'm plugged in, so let me shut you off for a second. Alright, I tilted these up a little bit here, so let me finish the bottom here. You know, it was doing that well, and I didn't even realize it, but the compressor isn't on. I'm going to turn that on. Alright, we got air pressure now. Alright, well, that pretty much got all the paint off. Now I hit it with a wire wheel and it's cleaned it right up. You also want to make sure before you start wire wheeling anything that all the grease is off. Let me turn this to the side and show you how this other thing works. As I can see that. Like I say, this thing's a lot lower, more lower in the RPMs, but it I don't know what this thing is called. If anybody knows what kind of disc is called, let me know. The problem with this one though is, let me take you off the stand and show you. Yeah, that black disc does a real nice job and gets right down to the metal. The only problem is, man, when the disc disintegrates or whatever, it's, you know, it just leaves a mess. Look at it, all here and stuff. So I'm going to take this outside, out to the shed and work outside there because I got electricity out there. But I'll do a little more work on it and show you what it looks like. Alright, had a little change of plan here. I was using a needle gun and it was working so well that I finished this up. It's only taken me about 10 minutes to get the paint off. That's the hopper. So I didn't wire wheel it. I was going to take it out and wire wheel it. But then like I say, since things were going so well, and the needle gun was taking the paint off so good, I'm gonna take the paint off of everything. I gotta take, this is the base, and then I got the wheels, and then the piston and all the caps, and the head and stuff like that, and the crank. So what I'm gonna do is, like I said, I'm gonna needle gun all the paint off, and then I'll take it outside and wire wheel it some other day. Alright, let me put my headphones on here, maybe we'll do a little needle gun. On this side here. Alright, I got all the paint off it. I'm happy with it. Some guys would take this and throw it in an electrolysis tank, or electrolysis, whatever they call it. But I'm not. You know, this engine was pretty much scrap, you know, until we got it. So we're going to give it another life. But we're not going to get crazy with it. We're not going to spray it with a spray can. But I'm going to wire wheel it, get most of the rust off it, and then give a good primer. Alright, let me get some more parts and take the paint off. Alright, while you weren't looking, I needle gun got all the paint off of the flywheels, front and back. So we got the flywheels done, the crank done, the block and the hopper. Now we just got little parts, you know. So all the major stuff is done. And then over here, take you over to the vise. I'm starting to work on the head here. Grind down all the high spots and stuff, and do a little body work on that, and you'll never know it was cracked. Alrighty. That'd probably be enough for this video. We'll see you when we start something else.